Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Clean clams crammed in clean clans. Clean
I
clans.
think you got that. Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Yeah, one more time faster.
Clean clams crammed in clean. My brain doesn't work that fast, dude.
That'll work.
Okay.
I think
clean clams clean in clean clans.
Digging in the crates for something good. Hidden gems often misunderstood. 'Cause you know there's no such thing as too much. Miscellaneous important stuff.
Welcome back to the show. This week, my friend Brandon was here. We work together in advertising. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have. He's a really talented guy. He's someone that I've learned a lot from. And I think he was able to provide some good insight into the advertising industry. So we discussed where advertising was, where it is now, and where it might be in the near future. We also discussed awards and whether or not they're important, because when we recorded this, we were actually about to go to the Addy Awards, so it seemed like an appropriate topic. It was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Here it is. Brandon.
What's up?
Hey.
How are you doing?
Are you doing headphones or no headphones now?
I will put on my headphones if you want me to put on my
I'll
headphones.
do without headphones. No, I'll do without.
Oh, you do it without? Oh,
yeah, I'll do without.
I'll do one in, one out.
All right.
Like I do at work.
We're compromising.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, so first question.
Yes.
How do you feel about advertising now versus when you got in advertising, which was how many years ago?
I started in advertising roughly about 12, maybe 13 years ago in the real advertising world. I was in a kind of like online e-commerce type website embroidery place for about 2.5 years.
Do you consider that advertising though? Because you said the real advertising.
What I did there, I wouldn't call advertising. We did a lot of production artwork. There were a few things I did as far as advertising, like B-roll, couple pamphlets, but a lot of the times those people already had their idea of what they wanted. We just made the stuff. So I wouldn't say that it was strategic planning on my part. It was more of like strategic planning on how to actually do what they want.
Sure.
Not advertising. Like I was helping 50, 60-year-old women sell product online, which they were rather good at actually, and they still are. They still have business doing their thing. So,
but it didn't take a lot of maybe thinking outside the box on your part.
No. It was pretty cut and dry. Literally, you cut stuff up and you put it down on paper. You're done.
So what about when you got into the real advertising?
Real advertising scared me. That's the reason why I actually didn't go into it straight from college. And I was always told advertising is a dog-eat-dog world. When you get out there, everybody's against everybody. Nobody you work with will ever like what you do because you've got to be better than everyone else, and you've got to talk the talk and walk the walk, or else nobody's going to be, on your side about it.
Yeah.
So when I got out of college, I was like, nah, that's not for me. I'm going to go to this place instead and just work on work, But I found out really quickly that, one, when you have a good group of people doing that job, and two, you get to be more creative, and every day is different. It becomes a little more encouraging, a little bit more fun, unique.
Yeah, but do you think you also got a little bit lucky though?
I got really lucky
because I think I look at advertising. I'm happy we work at the same place. I should mention that for whoever doesn't know us. I was kind of the same way. I wanted to prove that I could work in advertising for myself. But I look at other agencies now, and I'm like, I still think it's maybe a dog-eat-dog world, and that maybe it isn't as encouraging as it should be, and that maybe we're in a place that is just better than that.
But
I don't know.
Here's your question earlier was, how do you see it different now than I did when I started? Yeah. I think nowadays, I don't mind having friends at other agencies. I don't mind going out and having, a little brunch or a dinner or a lunch with some of the other designers from the other places. Whereas in the past, if you saw that happening, it'd be like, oh, blasphemy. I can't
How
believe you're doing that. What
you.
are you sharing with them? But we all sign those clauses saying that we can't do that kind of stuff. We can't share stuff. But to me, it's like, I want to build who I am professionally. The only way you can do that is by being around people who know what you're doing professionally. And so I had to get that like off my chest a while back, because I used to hide myself away in ICG. I used to literally be in the closet, not that way.
In a small space.
In a small space, in a closet, literally at this small office we had. And I didn't do much with the community at all, because I was always told, you got to be loyal to this group of people, and you're not supposed to go outside of this and talk to other people, because then people will talk, like that whole thing. But I also wasn't big on like water cooler talk, I guess you could say, because I was always told, just don't be a part of that. It's not okay. Like it's not, But to my point here is, yes, I do feel lucky that, we have 3 dudes that kind of run our business, who tended to be lean more on we just want you to be able to do and grow how you need to. And then eventually me getting out of my kind of dumb shell, being like, oh, I can actually go have friends. Oh, I can do this. It's not a big deal. Now, as far as agencies go, I do think that it's still dog eat dog as far as agency versus agency,
Sure.
but not internally anymore. I think today...
Is that more what you meant? Like people inside the agency?
Internally inside the agency, I feel like we may have some friendly competition, but I don't feel like I'm trying to one-up anybody ever. It's always, I want to help that one person if I can.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same way with me too. Like people, how they treat me, it's like, oh, I want to help you with this. Oh, I want to do that. Especially if they get behind something and they see that vision with you. And that's why I love about like me and you's relationship, as far as like designer versus video guy, which by the way, that's what we do. I feel like there's a lot of times when I can't communicate it with my words. You tend to take it and go, no, I got you. I understand what you're saying. And then maybe you could write it down, or somebody else could write it down. And then I agree. Yes, this works really great.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I can at least draw it and you guys understand it. So,
And it makes us all better.
Oh yes, very much so.
To do that. And it's easy to get, initial reaction could be that you're hurt or offended, or like you're mad that this other person is doing a better job or doing something you don't get to do, but really that has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with you and why you just want to be better. Like you should take that moment and look inward and say, well, why am I not doing the work that I see them doing? Why am I not as good as I want to be? But I think that's a good thing, as long as you know that's what's happening, and people aren't at each other's throats for no real reason.
Right. I'd say the difference between like when I first started also compared to like, and this is just internally and not necessarily externally as far as advertising goes in general, but like when I first started, it was very much like I managed my own time, kind of do my thing, and it's little work here and there. But as we've grown, so as the office and how we accomplish things. So whereas I probably wouldn't have taken as much time before, I need to spend a lot more time. And so you've got to find that time, and you've got to understand that this is going to be a good thing, even though it may take a long time to do it.
Sure.
And whereas in the past, I was like, oh, I'll just get that done in about an hour. Oh, I'll get that done in about 2 hours. I can't kid myself anymore. I've got to be really honest with myself. And now with other people too, it's, bigger company, you got to communicate with a lot of people. So that's something I don't necessarily do very well, but I work on it.
I think that, and I didn't know you 10 years ago, but just from talking to other people, it seems like you've changed quite a bit and grown quite a bit.
Yeah, no, well, the biggest thing for me was how I communicated. A lot of the way I communicated is if I didn't get, I'm very passionate about the things I do. So when I get behind a piece of work, a lot of me was put into that work. And so what people would get is, if I got a no out of it, I'd be very much like I don't understand. What do you mean? You don't understand? Like, I'm trying to explain this to you so you understand. And most people would be like, Brandon, we're not trying to not understand you. It's just you're not putting out there the way we can put the lines together, to you're not communicating in the best way you could to get out there. And then somebody told me, why don't you just draw it out? Why don't you just write it out for us? Not necessarily in words, but like draw it out for us. See where that goes.
Like show
and
us.
And I tell you what, from that point on, if I ever have a problem, guess what? I just do it. Or, the biggest one I do, I kind of pull a high school teacher on some people sometimes. I'm like, okay, I could let you do it. I could explain it to you, or I could just do it real fast. Which would you like?
Yeah.
I did that to one of our coworkers the other day, and I felt really bad afterwards. I was like, I'm sorry, I totally high school teachered that on you. But like, I knew what I wanted to see. I knew it would take me like 2 minutes to do. Thank you. Continue on.
No,
what
I
you
can
were
be the
doing.
same way where I'd rather just let me do it.
Yeah,
because
just
it's going to be easier than trying to explain it.
Right. And so in those kind of moments, no big deal. Another thing though I've done, especially inside today and age, is at work, I know that's not me. It's not my work. It's my work when it comes to, like, my pride is behind it, but my feelings aren't. So in other words, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me, hey, this is just not the way we're going to go, and we're going to move forward doing something else. Cool. How do we do that? 10 years ago? Yeah, you tell me that, I'd probably be crying to my car. Not really crying, but
Hey, if you were, that's okay too.
I was probably angry and in my car. But you have you learn a few things. And now, as far as the state of today's advertising, I feel like they've kind of given a lot of confidence to these kids that come out of college. And so you got your I guess you say your veterans in the advertising world who are very, very hard pressed, know when it is time to make those changes. I would say that, anybody from, Eric, Rusty, and Doug, who are our bosses, by the way, who, they really want to see it have the twinkle and the stars that they need to get it out there. Whereas a lot of the stuff these days can't have that because it's social media. Social media is such a fast-paced thing.
Yeah.
If you've got to make some legit stuff in a short amount of time, and a lot of people will eat that up. They don't necessarily need the bells and whistles like we're so used to in the past. Whereas, like, we want to make this cut, clean, proper. Like, let's get this exactly how we want it before we send it out. Problem is nowadays they need new content every hour, every other hour.
People don't care.
No,
I mean, a lot of people consuming that content, they don't care.
They don't care. They do care and they don't care.
It depends on who it is too.
Right.
You're going to appreciate content different than, like, I don't know, someone else in my family would who doesn't do what we do.
Right. Well, in your case, what would you say you've seen a little bit of the difference as far as like video goes?
I mean, it's the same thing in social media. I see things that I'm like, that looks awful, but I see it everywhere because I know that apparently it's working, but I don't want to do that type of content. So that's where it gets difficult. I'm glad that you brought up being really passionate about work because, and I've seen that in you. I see when you get an idea and you're really excited about it, you want to do it well, but it is tough because you want to do good work and then that gives you some sort of creative fulfillment. But when you think about it, it's not yours. And that's where it gets tough because I think as a creative, you need that fulfillment. You need to feel like you're doing good things that you love. But a lot of times you can't. And you do have to give it up and you say, we're going this other direction. So like, where's the balance at? Where do you give up on an idea and say, maybe I should just go home at 5 and then I'll get it there?
I like to call it the drop the mic scenarios. You're not going to have a lot of those in advertising world because there's a team there. So you can have the drop the mics moment where everyone's dropping a mic together.
Sure.
But like to say you did that one thing, you dropped the mic, it's all you. That you're not going to have that very much, I don't think, anymore. Especially since it is so fast paced, and because that trend is going that direction. Which I would love to talk about that here in a minute about why don't we as advertising people like to see that kind of content out there that does so well, that gets the 45 million hits in one day, the Dude Perfects, the
but they're also doing, I don't feel like they're the best
PewDiePie.
example.
No, they're not a good example of
because they do
advertising.
high quality, like,
no, they are true. You're right. Yeah, but just I don't know.
the people that are doing daily content.
Right. I mean,
because I think we can all look at it and go, do this different, or it should look different in this way. But
well, and you can't say I feel like when they put together those big like campaigns to do those small little advertising pieces, like who's one recently, Geico or any of the Geico commercials and stuff like that, where each thing is like little pieces. I mean, they plan these things out for days and days and days, and they have tons of money. But then you look over and you're like, oh, so and so just made 4 little stupid commercials at his house with showing off his books and his stupid cars, and it's the guy who does like the
Ty Lopez.
Is that it?
I think so. The guy that spins around his garage. And
Yeah,
he's got the
he's
books
like,
behind him.
and I'm so proud of my cars, and they're just so amazing.
Wait,
and
is that Ty Lopez or Donald Trump?
that's Ty Lump? I don't know. No, I'm just saying, like, he he really, and he gets hits all the time.
Yeah.
I know that he's probably putting up some money behind it, but I'm like, what's keeping us from doing something as silly as that? And is it important to do? I mean, is it important for the advertising agencies to still be that to the world?
Yeah, I think you have to, because people love viral content now, and you have to figure out how to do that. And sometimes viral content looks like it was shot by some kid with a cell phone. Well, sometimes it is, but as in advertising, like if for us to mimic that is what we're supposed to do. But it's also tough because some of that stuff that we could do really quickly, it feels like we're not putting in full effort. So then you also feel like you're letting yourself down, other people down, because we could 10 minutes I could put together a video, but it feels like I'm not doing what I should be doing. And maybe that's because, in a way where I don't like to call myself an artist, but like a creative, like you want to do more than that.
Right. And also you want to be engaging to your audience.
Yeah.
Which in some instances, such as some of our food places that we work with, you've got to be really careful where to draw that line, because you don't want to say something people are going to be like really, really, one, offended about, but two, be like, yeah, that's not important for me to be even go there anymore because of this particular thing that they decided to air on TV, But that also being said, it also, I feel like we kind of get, blocked, like wall blocked.
Like a creative block?
Blocked because we aren't open to those kind of things sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm sure Newton was like, oh, there's a thing called gravity, and all the science people are like, huh, what, are you stupid? Like, I'm sure that some of those people got like, in trouble big time for saying stuff they weren't supposed to say, but they were thinking outside of what the social, the norm was. Where does that, with us, like, how can we be that kind of creative? I feel like we do a pretty good job at ICG doing those kind of things where we're thinking outside the, and some clients are like, yes, that's the biggest part. I know the client has to say yes.
Yeah. Some don't want that.
And I think even we tend to stop ourselves from even putting stuff out there that we really, really want to put out there sometimes, because we're afraid to, like, again, offend somebody or, look bad in front of a client sometimes. Which, I mean, we are who we are, and that's one thing I do love about what we do, and I would say is a little different about what we do outside of, or maybe a regular agency, is I feel like we do have relationships, and so, we are thinking about those people, and we want to make sure that, they're not going to go but look back and go, oh, these are the ones that did the bleep, 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 all these bleepy bleep things. Oh, this, things
I can't
that
tell
they
if you're a
can't
robot
share.
or if you're cussing.
Oh, no, I know. Sorry. Well, you take it.
There's just a lot of robot ads, so I just wanted to be clear.
I know. What's up with that? Okay.
I guess we got to do that
soon.
next.
It's going to be soon.
I mean, it seems like sometimes, though, and I guess it depends on the client, that maybe we want to be edgier or we want to do something really different because we're bored. You know what I mean? Like doing the same thing, but sometimes doing the same thing over and over again isn't bad for the client. It's just bad for us. And we go, we need to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can think of a few clients that there are times when we're like, oh man, if you just did this, I think you'd get more people, but I don't know if in the long run it would really help them as far as their voice or their look necessarily.
So it's like, is it even true, or are we just
really,
bored?
Yeah, are we really bored? Well, and I think that comes to a brand in general. As long as you're still telling their story and people are being engaging because of it, I think it's okay. It's when you shot for left field and it had nothing to do with the brand, and you miss the mark on all of those aspects. That's when it becomes a no. And that kind of leads me into some of the things we were wanting to also talk about, which is what is not safe, what is
Not safe for
too
work.
far, and what is too far. Awards are kind of that way. I feel like
Awards are too far.
okay. Here's a good example. Not awards. Sorry. Okay, fashion shows.
Yeah.
Okay, when you think of high fashion, what do you think of?
Models walking down a runway.
What else?
Thin women, about 5'9".
Okay, Jay, think outside of what.
Oh, sorry.
Like, what are they wearing?
Oh, sorry.
That's what Fashion Week's about.
That's all I. What do I think when I'm thinking high fashion?
Yeah.
Stuff that's different and weird and stuff that I would never wear, but at some point maybe it is then trendy
Right.
down the road.
That's what I feel about like advertising. We have to push a norm of some sort. We have to make it so that it just seems ridiculous enough so that other people will take it, cut back, and be like, "We'll take a part of that. We'll take a little bit of this." I mean, you can kind of see it in web design in general because they are really, they're kind of limited to what they can and can't do. But at the same time, they see these people putting out these edgy HTML5 content pages, and they're just like, "Whoa, that took a long time for them to do. So I'm just going to take it and try to do something with it." Whereas, maybe we go out there and, do something silly like PETA does or something, like some of these other big time, social activist people who want to prove a point by doing something extreme.
Sure.
But in the advertising world, what is that for us that just makes it so extreme? I mean, taking, like what you did, like taking music and writing new words to it, that's good. I wouldn't call that edgy, but it's still something good, something that you can hang your hat on at the end of the day. I still feel like we should be the high fashion sometimes of advertising. And that's hard for people to get behind. Like how can you be haute couture? Another fashion term, by the way. If it's going to be too risque, or if it's going to be, well, you throw it out there and then you cut away at it and try to take pieces from it. But I don't think that discovery ever happens a lot of the times. And I think that's just mainly client based. But like I said, if it's not adding to the brand at all either too. So I don't know.
And you can give like those suggestions and the first response may be, well, that's crazy. But then maybe that's why we should do it.
Right. Exactly.
And it might fail miserably. That's tough too, because people like clients are also paying for that, and you go, I think it'll work, but we don't know. But we have faith in it.
Right.
So it takes a special client too to go, okay, we're gonna trust you.
But are we yes.
But then it also takes an agency that wants to say, yeah, we may lose this client because of this project.
Well,
but
and that's another thing. When does it become viable to be like, we're going to just try it?
sometimes you don't know, right? Because you could say, I know for sure this is going to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
People will watch this. People will go buy things from you, but then it could still fail.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But then that's exciting too. I don't know. I want to do something like that.
There's some failed ads out there that still get people's attention regardless.
Yeah.
It failed for the person it was meant for, but people still talk about it like crazy. There's a lot of those ads, and that's the thing that bugs me all the time whenever people are like, did you see that ad? I can't believe they did that. I just can't believe it. I'm saying, you're talking about it. You know exactly what it's for, how it's for, why it's for, and you're sitting there saying it's bad advertising. How about this? It's poor taste of advertising.
Yeah.
But it's not bad advertising, Devour. I'm talking to you. It's poor taste.
See, that out of all the Super Bowl commercials, that one is still in my head.
It's fantastic.
So
I would
say whatever
never
you
even
want
show
about
that commercial to my kids, but it's fantastic.
It was great. It was the only one I'm thinking of. That and TurboTax. And I also loved...
free.
Yeah.
Free.
And Eat Like Andy. Do you remember that one? Only because...
Oh, yeah. One of my heroes.
Nothing happened. ate a burger.
He ate a burger that he got a ketchup ready for that he'd never put.
Yeah. But also, even if you missed that part, it's still like nothing happened, but you still go, what is this? And you pay attention.
Mhm.
They didn't do anything.
Mhm.
They took a clip, played it, and then put their logo at the end. But it was, to me, one that stood out
Yeah.
because it wasn't flashy. It was
Yep.
just a guy sitting at a table.
Andy Warhol
Yeah.
doing his thing.
Being odd.
That's Andy Warhol. Man.
And Burger King,
If there was one person I could have probably met, it would be
that
him.
would have been him.
He's kind of cool. He's kind of cool in my eyes. He's weird, but I love weird people.
Well, yeah. you
I'll
can
talk
get
to
something from
anybody.
him.
So
You can like, I'm sure he has a different perspective. You learn something.
Yeah.
Well, we got 15 minutes.
Cool, let's do
I
it.
think.
I don't know what we were doing. Sorry.
No. You're
15
good.
minutes.
I'm just trying to keep track of time,
you're
and
good.
that, maybe this is a good time to talk about awards.
Yeah, sorry. You can take that out early. I was trying to preempt us into it, but then I realized I don't know what time it is. So
No, it was good.
let's go.
That's also what I love. Like there doesn't have to be like, all right, this time we got to go to this subject.
you're
It's just,
good, you're good.
But I want to make sure we get it in since that's
No,
where
yeah.
we're going tonight.
Yes. So this is Addy night.
Yeah, we're going
I've been
the
to
Addies.
every single one except for one.
Which year?
I've been to every single one except for one.
Okay,
I don't remember.
so you don't know what year?
My
but-
kid had the flu.
Okay.
So and he was young, and we were dumb, and we didn't realize. Oh yeah, one of the parents could probably just stay at home. But that's
It's okay. You
part
live
of
and
life.
learn.
You live and learn.
I can't judge you. I don't have kids.
I wasn't feeling good either, so
Oh,
I was
okay.
probably ready to. I was probably just not feeling really well. So
Okay, well, let me ask you this question.
yes, sir.
Are awards important?
Words are the most important thing in all of advertising, but they don't mean.
Oh, wow. So what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is because I've thought about this.
I have two, and I'm so excited to follow up
Okay.
with whatever your answer is.
So for me, awards are a recognition of a sense that allow the people that you work with and the others to be, take it in with me, understood on their level. They get judged by people who also are in your industry. And like I was talking about Fashion Week a little bit, some of that should be crazy, but it's what, but people are still looking at it going, man, that was a good addition to what we do every single day.
Yeah.
Which then puts that up onto another level. Then that level is put up to another level, and that level up to another level. Here's the thing, though. It don't mean anything in the advertising world. As far outside of the advertising world, though.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I say it doesn't mean because it may not sell a thing. It may not have done anything. Half of these awards that we see sometimes don't see the light of day because there's no media behind it.
It was just creative,
It was
interesting
creative,
work.
interesting work. And the thing is, we need to see that work. We need to be able to see that, understand why, and then sometimes go, what the hell was that? Like, why did that even, why did that win something? And the part of us is like, I bet you anything that agency was probably thinking, why did that win something?
Yeah. Like we all
with
do.
us, because that's important. But the biggest thing is camaraderie. What's important there. This is number 2 thing on it. The camaraderie behind it. The idea that I'm not just making stuff for everyone else. I'm making stuff to be proud of also, and I get to share with my peers. Hey, look at this. Look how cool that was. Guess what? I didn't get anything in the Addies this year. Well, maybe next year. Next year. Free. Good.
No,
good. So what's your thoughts on it?
I agree. I'm glad you said that. I think a lot of us have been guilty of saying things like, awards don't matter, award shows are stupid, they're meaningless, you should be doing the work for yourself. You do it because you love to create. But, like we were talking about earlier, when you're in advertising and you're doing work for a client, it's not your work. So if you do it and you put it out and that's it, you never get a good job, or there's never any validation because it's not yours. You give it up. It's like, it feels meaningless, or it can. So I think awards are important because what we're really talking about, like you said, is recognition. Someone saying good job. You get to feel like you are doing good work and that you should keep doing that work It's not about getting a physical trophy. It really is just about hearing a good job. It's not that different from someone coming by and saying, "Oh my God, that was amazing. I love what you did there. That was so creative." It's just on a bigger level, and we maybe dress up and like drink wine and, you know, eat dinner. But it's really not that different from someone just saying good job, and I think people need to hear that.
Yeah. I think also it is one of those nights out where you do get to communicate with everyone, where
Yeah.
you realize this is a doggy dog world in general. I know we use
That's
that,
true. No,
we
that's
used
true.
that earlier, but I'm saying like in general. But when you show up together with and break bread with other people who do have that with you, you realize at the end of the day, hey, they're trying to make a living too.
Yeah.
Hey, they're trying to do this too. And I would say, and maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, if we really had award shows that really banked off of how well we did, well, there should be numbers behind that. You know, like,
Yeah.
hey, this advertising video made this much profits because we had this much return, and this happened. Well, nobody knows. I mean, we do in some regards. We know on our end because of all the stuff we do with our media buying, but we really don't know outside of that, and nor do they care. They want to see the art side of it.
Yeah.
I think it's like I was saying, when you go to New York and you got Fashion Week and you know, it's just all these crazy things that are going on. At the end of the day, you know, they've still got to make money somehow, and they've still got their normal brand of clothing that sits out there on the shelves that make them money every day. These big haute couture type things don't make it to runways. They don't, other than their own runway.
Yeah.
They don't make them to, like, you know, red carpet events and, you know, stuff like that. It's just to broaden their name, their brand. And so I think that's a big thing too, is you see us out there inside the pool of other advertisers, and you're like, oh, that's ICG. They're really cool people.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, there's Stable Gun. They're really cool people. Oh, hey, there's VI. They're really cool people. Oh, there's never mind.
I agree with you though. It is nice to go out and like you feel like you're part of something, because you do realize you're all kind of after the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is the competition, and you do lose clients to other people and whatever, but everyone's trying to do the same thing.
I will tell you this: if if we lost a client to somebody else, shame on us.
Oh yeah.
And that's a big part of that. But at the same time, what can we do to make that better?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when I say doggy dog world where they used to talk about, I see it more like some friendly competition that we need to be and do better things for. So they're just making us better.
Of course.
They're just making us better.
It's the same thing that happens internally. If somebody does something, maybe a better job than you with a design or a video or whatever, then you're able to see how you could have been better and how you can be better in the future. And yeah, if we lose a client, then that's not because someone took them. It's because we lost them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do what we needed to.
Right. I mean, yeah, no, I agree with that. I love the idea that, you know, how we change the aspect or lives of people's and clients, stuff like that, is directly correlated sometimes to what we do. And if it's not if we're not reaching what they need or want, it's reassuring knowing that there are other people around here that can help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's, I think, a big part of the team building I like to see. It's not necessarily about one person, and as long as people understand that part, I think that's important for any workspace. But that's the reason why I like ours so much, because I do feel like we do have a fairly awesome, what do you call that? We call it we say it all the time. Culture. Yeah. That word. I don't. Yeah.
No,
Words.
I think.
See, communication. Got to do better.
But you found the word after I gave it to you.
You gave it to me. Thanks.
No,
I was about to draw it, but I decided not to.
No, you're right, and that's part of why I love, at least where we're at in advertising. And you know, even if we didn't do what's great about ICG also is that we do have relationships with the clients, and I feel like we do make things that are meaningful, especially for their mission, our client's mission. And I would still do this stuff if there was never any award, if there was never any recognition. That stuff's just an added bonus, but I do love what we get to do. There is meaning in that. So I hope I didn't come across too negative, because sometimes...
Oh, yeah, no, you're good.
Well, I just know some of the things I said, and because sometimes it does feel like that. But at the end of the day, we have really good clients that do really good things, and we get to be a part of that. Not everyone gets to experience that.
No, I've been really, really excited about this year. There have been some really awesome stuff we've done just in this past 2 months that I could honestly say we haven't done before in the past. And all it took was just a little bit of kick, a little bit of something saying, you've got to be better. You've got to let the past be the past and work on your future.
Yeah.
For instance, like we were talking about, wrapping it up in a little bit here, today is about being more thoughtful in your process. I think our process is starting to get there a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the past, we were stuck in between that. What do we do? Everyone's going to the social media stuff, and we weren't accommodating for that. And now that we are, I think we're going to start seeing what we're seeing now, which is better outcomes and better time management pieces and just more ideas of what it is to be creative in general. So yeah.
So what are you most excited about tonight?
Oh, man. Well, I bought me a nice little Ross Dress for Less outfit.
Oh, yes.
And I will admit there was something else I was going to wear tonight, but I really, really get excited just to be different in front of a whole bunch of people. And I don't mean different in a not me kind of way, but like just
a different person.
Like when I'm at the office, I'm Brandon, but when I get to go out and be out, out of the office, Brandon, it's a lot of fun. I'm a goofball, but I enjoy people. I enjoy every single person. So just getting to see my friends, getting to hang out with people, and enjoy some of the most ridiculous stuff in the world. So
yeah, do you know anything about well, actually, describe for anybody who doesn't know what the Addies are or what they're like or what they're about, like give it a little description of the night.
All right. So Addies, especially this year, is where all the advertising agencies get together. We break bread or eat some food. There will be some drinky tinky winkies there.
There'll be plenty.
I don't know why I called it that. And we dress up kind of nice. Some people dress up nicer. You have some students who show off their work, which is usually makes you feel really bad because they did some really awesome stuff. Then you remember, oh yeah, they got to work on it for a whole year. You didn't. And then you tell them, oh no, we have posters due in 2 months or in 2 days. Oh no, 2 hours. And they're like, oh god.
Like I can't be an advertiser.
Maybe I should go move to New York and go to another school. I'm just kidding. Okay, so then you're crammed inside this kind of small place. It's dark. And then all of a sudden the announcer will get on there and start trying to be witty with whatever the theme was that year. And usually it fails miserably, except for our year 2009 where we were awesome. Okay. And then, it's sappy. It's everything you would want in an award show when it comes to award shows, because it's just off the cuff. Whether they want to say it is or not, it's a big community of group of people trying to put together one big show that goes off pretty decent because we've been doing it the same way for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Or more. I don't even remember. I think this is the 37th annual whatever.
In Oklahoma City?
I don't know.
All right, you're just making up numbers now.
I did. That's what I do. I told you, I'm advertising. I make up the numbers. I just show the work, okay? And I don't have to spell. I just don't know. Anyways, and then, you hear your name called for something, whether it's a silver, a bronze, or an Addy. It's not a gold. It's an Addy.
Oh, it's not a gold? I thought it was a gold.
No, it's called an Addy.
A gold Addy.
No. Look at the paper. From what I remember, I think it just says Addy. I think they do hand you something that looks gold, but I think it's just called the Addy Award. You won an Addy.
So unless you get the quote unquote gold, then you haven't won.
Yes,
an Addy?
You haven't won an Addy. If you get the silver or the bronze, even though there's an Addy symbol on it, still
you're still a loser.
You're still a loser. Yeah, no, you still get it. So you get your name called out, and everybody at your table is like, "Woo, yeah!" we're awesome. And then, you know, it goes to the next group and you get to see who's there, who's not there, who made it, who didn't make it, you know, stuff like that. By, you know, towards the middle of the show, you realize, oh my gosh, it's a whole bunch of this over and over and over and over and over. In the past couple of years, they've shrunk down the show pretty quick. And I appreciated that because it just keeps on rolling. And so you're eating your food and talking to your people and you realize, oh, there's another 2.5 hours of this. Wow. You know, it's not like the Emmys or something like that you'd see where, you know, it's like 25 different awards being handed out. It's like 100-something awards.
But you're in good company while you're there, which I think is what's great about it. So even if you have to sit through it, you're hanging out with friends.
Yep. And being dorks, and I love it.
Yeah.
End with this. The Addies are a unique system, like we were talking about, of how to be, you know, have that camaraderie, but also to be able to be like, do a little trash talking here and there with some of the people you do know. Be like, oh, I see you got that. Oh, I see you got that. Well, maybe next year I'll make something even stupider. You know, by the way, never mind.
So is there any trash you'd like to talk before we end this?
No, we won last year pretty good, I think. So...
And even if we didn't, we'll just pretend that's true.
Yeah, no. I mean, we always boo certain people just as a joke. I won't say who, AMC. But AMC? AM. There.
AMC, the movie theater.
Yeah, AMC, the movie theater. And then, you know, when we nod our hats to the people who came before us. And I think that's an important part. I wish people were quiet during that part, but that's just who I am. So,
well, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
It's a lot of fun, and you can come back. We'll do it again. We'll talk about anything you want.
Well, I said food because I like food.
I'm good with food.
I like board games, which I know you're kind of on the fence about. Which is okay.
I love playing the board games that you show me.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll show you a board game, and then you can tell me about it afterwards.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
I like describe the board game to you.
The other two that we talked about, maybe mental health and marriage.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Also favorite topics of mine.
I think those are very important. So.
Okay, we'll come back soon.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm so glad Brandon got to come on the show. I always have so much fun talking to him, and I hope to do it again soon. But anyway, if you hated this episode, please let us know. If you like this episode, please let us know. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, please let us know. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.